In Cycle 006.M31, traitor marine forces had taken position on the planet of Istvaan V. 7 loyalist legions were about to make planetfall, the first of these being the Iron Hands, the Salamanders, and the Raven Guard. They were about to take the fight back to Horus and his traitor legions. However, our loyalist marines were about to find out upon completing their first ground assault as they retreated back to what they thought were friendly lines. The truth was revealed to them. The other 4 loyalist marines had turned traitor. The Alpha Legion, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, and Word Bearers, who were meant to support the initial landing, had shown their true colours and were now loyal to Horus. And so, the annihilation of 3 loyalist legions began in what became to be known as the drop site massacre of Istvaan V. Today, we witness this turning point in the battle for Holy Terror. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big one, the drop site massacre here of Istvaan V. And we're currently following here the pursuing horde that was following the Space Marines back from their assault here. And the Imperial Guard are going to help here with the countercharge, trying to hold back the gigantic force that is charging them. Now, the rest of the Space Marines are trying to make their way back towards what they were assuming were friendly lines. Now, unfortunately, of course, it was at this point the 4 other legions had decided that, yes, now is an opportune time to turn traitor. And thus now, the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard find themselves in this horrible pincer maneuver, caught out in the open between friendly, well, supposedly friendly trench lines and the pursuing Chaos Horde. So a lot of the Space Marines now and the Imperial Guard are going to try hold the Horde that is pursuing them in place here, while the rest of them try to establish what's really going on over at the friendly lines here. Space Marines go charging forward, but unfortunately for them, Chaos has taken a hold here. They've gone ahead and joined the side of Horus. And we can see that the traitor legions now are starting to blast their bolt of fire right into that center line. Space Marines charging forward, trying to clear out the trenches, trying to find who is friend and who is foe here. And the confusion that they must have felt on the actual battlefield when this started happening to them. It's the most opportune moment for the other 4 legions here to turn traitor. Alpha Legion, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, and Word Bearers, putting their might together to take on the retreat. Well, they're not really retreating, they were just returning, but being pursued. And it has just been an absolute horror here. Some might say a horror heresy. But look at this, a magnificent countercharge coming out from the Space Marine line here, holding that gigantic horde in place as bolt of fire rakes up and down the line. Like I said, unfortunately for the Loyalist Marines here, there's virtually no cover whatsoever. They are completely out in the open as they were making their way back to these friendly trenches. And the Loyalist Marines here now pouring over, trying to actually recapture them, try and get some cover here. But Traitor Legion forces are just pouring forth, along with bolt of fire, focusing fire down here upon the assault group. Now, the other interesting thing here is that the assault group here, the Iron Hands, the Salamanders, and the Raven Guard, they were actually totally caught out in this one, because what you have to also think about is the deployment that they had. So they were an assault group. That means lots of jump jet infantry, lots of fast attack stuff. They had no real heavy weapons with them, no heavy tanks or anything like that. So it was an assault formation group returning back to friendly lines. And the friendly lines had deployed with heavy weapons because that was their deployment. They weren't on attack. So yeah, Alpha Legion, Night Lords, and Iron Warriors with the Word Bearers, they had loads of heavy weapons just set up, ready and waiting for them. And the poor old assault group here was just completely caught out in the open and was slowly but surely pincered by the Chaos forces. But my gosh, are the Loyalist Marines here making a damn good account for themselves. 780,000 kills under the belt here so far. It's making them wonder here, should we really have turned traitor? I mean, these guys seem to be kicking butt at the moment. Now, I am going to say, look, I know these aren't the correct colours. I know we've got Ultramarines. I know these are Blood Ravens and the other ones are Black Templars. Unfortunately, we don't have the correct colours in the this game at the moment. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You'll have to suspend your disbelief. It's a bit like, the actual traitor legions at the moment. Let's go have a look at them. As you can tell, these guys are definitely not any of the traitor legions. I think they're actually Black Legion, the ones that we've got at the moment. Well, still a traitor legion, they just weren't actually in this fight. So you'll have to suspend your disbelief that the correct colours are not in use. But oh my gosh, this drop site massacre is a really interesting story. It is like a turning point in the horus heresy almost. It was because of things like this that the Emperor of Mankind imposed that no more legions should have more than 1,000 troops in them at any one point in case they do turn traitor. And my gosh, look at them. The traitor legions here pouring forward. Loyalists have actually managed to capture one of these rear trenches now and are holding on to it as more and more of the chaos. Or were they actually known as the chaos at this point? I don't actually know that, you know. I should know it, but I don't know if before the horus heresy it was officially classed as the Chaos Legions, if you know what I mean. Because I think while they were fighting chaos, I think they were just smaller individual, like, named factions. And I don't know if they actually called them chaos. Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure some of you around there. A lot of my lore cut-off points were from the 3rd and 4th edition, unfortunately. I failed to keep up with most of the newer lore since then. But obviously, to me, that was the best one. But look at this magnificent force here. The Chaos are doing all they can at throwing themselves at the defenders so far. But these chainswords are just ripping it through. All of them. Oh man, the bodies as well are piling up. Look at that. The traitors have been turned into corpse architecture once again. Over 1 million kills now by the defenders. An excellent job. Most of the Legion was wiped out in the drop site massacre, so it is pretty, well, all 3 of the Legions were basically almost wiped out. They had to rebuild pretty quickly after this one. Oh man, I love these jump jet infantry. They just absolutely massacre everything in their path. Like I said, it's a shame that they can only use one weapon type. I'd love them to be able to have like the melter grenades and the bolter as well. But unfortunately, no, we can only have them using the chainsword at the moment there. As one of them uses his jump back to get out of trouble. But look at this, they have almost secured quite a large portion now of the supposedly friendly lines. Oh man, the bodies have built up a lot though. And the drop site truly has become an absolute massacre here. We have got a large amount though of troops trying to push through the center area, trying to create some sort of breakout area. Oh, guy having a little wobble there as he flows through the air. Nicely done. Looks like the Chaos are really struggling to actually push over the forces this side. That overlapping firepower coming out from the Loyalists is a lot. Oh my gosh. Speaking of a lot, we've got so many friendly deads down here. Or dead friendlies, rather. That'd be the correct way of saying it. Starting to get a lovely little Timmy Lake over here as well. Is it deep? Let's go have a little look. No, unfortunately, it's not that deep just yet. But the relentless attack here of Chaos is undeterred, pushing right into the Space Marine line. And the Space Marines totally in this pincer maneuver. Let's get a bit more of an overhead here so we can see what's happening. Yeah, look at that. So they are completely surrounded at this point. Does look like they're starting to run out of reinforcements, so the guys who tried to break through into the friendly lines here have had a real old tough job. With all 4 traitor legions pointing the bolters at them. They've been gunned down. They're still holding on to these trenches. They've captured them, and by God, they're going to try and hold on to them. On this side, they've actually pushed out quite far. They're really pushing in. They've pushed right past the friendly trench line now, trying to get up past it to see if there's any good friendlies out there at all. Oh man, there's so many Chaos though, just forcing their way around as we come up to 2 million kills here for the defending Space Marines. They've lost so many though, 57,000 have been lost at this point. Going over to the far flank, it looks like Chaos is struggling now to wrap its troops around. That firepower from the Imperials has been so good. But like I said, they've taken a lot of losses here. And the horus heresy is in full swing now. Oh my God, look at how many Space Marines are on this front line, trying to hold back that pursuing horde. So what's happening here is we've actually got a load of gunners for the Chaos team, and they're sort of basically trickling out the melee troops here, not allowing enough to get through, which is allowing the Space Marines to just purge their way forward. But again, bolt of fire is going both ways at the moment, and it is quite deadly. So many Chaos are just being cut down where they stand, though. Lots and lots of Imperials coming around the flanks, as the Chaos are gaining a foothold here. Look at this, they're all pushing in now. All the traitor legions. That bolt of fire is lining up. We're getting this crazy little exchange here. That the Imperials are making a damn good account for themselves. Even without the cover, look at this. They're just pounding that front line. Knowing now that there is no friendlies over here. So the problem that the Space Marines have now is that their forces are so stretched out and so thin that the Chaos are starting to encircle and envelop them. The strong push that we had over this side now has started to falter. The traitor legions catching up with them. And while it was looking peachy for a little while on this side, again, another pincer maneuver. They have still got this corridor, though, from which some units can escape, should it be needed. But the amount of Chaos here is just overwhelming at the moment. I've got to say, they're doing a damn good job at holding back the Horde on this side. Though, I guess a lot of the firepower is actually still centered on this side. Yeah, look, there's so many Space Marines still on this edge. But we have got a large contingent now of the Chaos pouring out from the once friendly lines, clearing up the rearguard army. I don't know if the army at the front yet has realized that there is actually traitors behind them too. I think they've been so concentrated on trying to take out the Horde that's in front of them that they've not yet quite realized, oh my god, look at all these. There's so many Chaos left, man. We're coming down to 28,000 defenders here, though this is really good. We have got a really large amount of jump jet infantry here, but they're getting railed on by that Chaos support fire. The bolt of fire from the traitor legions is, look at that. I mean, that's a lot of it coming out. Focusing fire as well. Now, don't get me wrong, these jump jet infantry can take a hell of a pounding, but that is a lot of firepower, and they're getting distracted by the puny minions here of Chaos. Again, though, still a heck of a lot, man. This is a worrying amount for the Chaos on this side of the field, quite frankly. The Chaos actually might get enveloped just a little bit. But we really need the reinforcements from this side to come pouring across the field now to regain that pincer maneuver advantage. It does look like we're starting to cut off one of the flanks here of the Imperials. Some conscripts getting caught out in the middle of the fire there. Space Marines desperately trying to hold that rear line. But the Chaos pincer is closing in once more. Little by little, chipping away at this Imperial defense. Again, we have got a lot of Space Marines over here, but look at that Chaos Horde, man. There's so many pouring in, and that bolt of fire as well now is actually going to start coming in, because on this side there was absolutely no bolt guns for the Chaos team. So all the bolters were in the traitor legion lines over this side, and they're now standing on piles of dead Imperials and railing into the back of our defenders now. Oh man, they're taking so many losses. Here we can see now the Space Marines realizing that the pincer maneuver is back on, moving forces back around to try and defend against this rearguard action. Oh gosh, look at that. A gigantic swathe of troops now. Yeah, it is truly known. The traitor legions are right behind them too. Lots and lots of Imperial forces pushing out now, trying to counter it. How are we doing on this side? Because this side was looking really strong. Yeah, so look, these guys are still pushing forward. A couple of them are breaking away to try and help this rearguard defense yet again. Look at that bolt of fire though, it's just pouring out. The poor old loyalist Marines here just didn't have the same level of firepower. But they have got a lot of melee troops. That's their advantage.
They've got a lot of assault troops. And all over the line now, chaos is just swarming in. So many are having to divert. The pincer maneuver is real, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, look at the chaos swarming in across the battlefield in the distance. That is truly, truly chaotic. Oh, and look at all that bolter fire as well. That is just concentrated on that one assault group over here. Oh man, you poor dudes. Oh, you're getting railed on harder than a porn star. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at all them bolter rounds. Smashing it overhead. The assault marines, though, are making their way forward bit by bit. Look at the battlefield. Oh, man. The drop site massacre here, living up to its name. Loyalist marines now 2.8 million kills under their belt. They have lost so many of their forces, though. They've only got 6,000 troops remaining. And they're against 200,000 chaos still. And yeah, well, they have managed to almost defeat the pursuing chaos horde that was behind them. They've still got to deal with the traitor marines over this side. And that bolter fire is just raking it right into the back of them while they're completely distracted by the chaos horde. How's our assault group doing? So more and more have joined into the assault group now. We have had a few reinforcements, but yeah, basically almost heavy bolter fire coming in now. Just rapid fire railing right into them. I'm amazed that the Space Marines have lived this long, ducking and dodging and weaving as best as they can. But look at this though, they have broken the back of this horde. That is one thing. So they are trying now to break around and envelop them. I'm thinking actually they're chasing, yeah, they're chasing down a couple of poor fellows at the moment. That is the plan. I hate, that's one thing about this AI, the AI in this game. You've got a gigantic horde to follow, but no, these three dudes running backwards across the field. So yeah, we'll send 400 Space Marines after them, shall we? No, there's the rest of the battle to be had. Yeah, look at that now. The pincer maneuver is pretty much complete here. So what we're quickly gonna do is just hit a little bit of a time lapse here and wait for the chaos to make their way across. And we're gonna also wonder what happens with these guys. Are they gonna make their way back to the battle? We'll find out in a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it comes down to this. The last 200 Space Marines for the Loyalists on the field. And my God, look at that traitor fire. Just absolutely railing upon them now. There's pretty much nothing left that they can do. They're just getting absolutely swarmed here, totally distracted by the vast swarms of hordes that are just being thrown at them to hold them in place here. Well, the traitor marine bolter fire just rails on them from above. I mean, look at this. It's an absolute disaster over here. The Space Marines are getting mopped up now by the Chaos Horde. But I suppose, ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't called the Drop Site Massacre for no reason whatsoever. But let it be known that 4 more legions have joined Horus in his heresy here today. But I think we can call this battle here, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all you channel members who helped keep this channel going. Thank you very much. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button down below. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out the amazing Death Before Dishonor hoodies. Available in the Chaotic Pinky store now. Links in the description. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.